Okay, so today we're working on the stripes. We'll put a hint of stripes, and we will try to follow the movement of the fabric now. So we have the fabric, the folds in the fabric, they're done. All we have to do is put the pattern on top, and we will follow the movement of the fabric. So I'm going to try and see if I should be if I need to work with a round brush or a flat, and it's a small flat. This is a round one. I'm going to zoom in a bit so you can see. I've traced, or I drew a couple of lines just to represent the stripes, so it's easier when I am painting them. I'm gonna try with this one here and see how it goes. I have Ivory Black. I'll probably use both, the round one and the flat brush and the round brush. Okay, let's try and start from the top. So I have highlights here, like it's a lighter color here, but I'm not worried about this now. All I want to do is make sure that the stripe is in the right position. I will highlight after anywhere where I need to do that. For now, I'm just gonna put a hint of black. And also, if the color is not dark enough, like too dark, that's okay, because that will give us room to highlight. Okay, let's take a bit more. I'm just trying to follow the movement of the fabric as much as I can. Okay, so I'll switch my brush to a round one, and I'm just going to darken inside a bit where there's the fabric folds in. So I need now to highlight a bit certain areas, and instead of using white, I'm going to try to use brown. Otherwise, this looks a bit off right now. Let's try to use burnt umber. Add burnt umber to black and then maybe titanium buff. So I don't end up with gray. Let's see how it goes. A little bit more. Kind of like the fabric is washed from the sun. It's not. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so it's burnt umber, titanium buff, and a bit of black. And you can see that the fabric looks like it's bending with there's a strong highlight where the fabric is up. Good. Okay, let's continue. Black again, ivory black, or any black you have. And then same, we're going to do the same. And we'll see how it goes. Now, fabric is up, so I'm moving my brush up where there's where the fabric is higher. Takes a bit of patience. But once it's done, it looks really good. And I will darken and highlight once I am done putting this color on, the first initial couple of lines. Okay, I'm not even looking at the at this point at the reference. I'm just following what I have here. Trying not to make I'm trying not to make the lines too straight. I will adjust the values in a minute for those. Meanwhile, now for this part where the other sleeve, I'm going to put the lines in between, not continue the same with the back, just because then it will look like it's separate. It's not connected, although I do have it here, like that, there. I will adjust with a round brush. Okay, let's take a bit more black, round brush, and just go in where the dark is. Just kind of enhance the black in there. I might not need to highlight where the fabric is up because it's already lighter. And that's the thing about glazing. You put the color and the color will follow. This should be a bit up here. Will show lighter where the color is light underneath and darker where it's dark. So sometimes you really don't have to do anything once you apply the glaze. So it's the movement of the line and the values, light and dark, both will show the fabric or the pattern. So it's a combination of both. Okay, now I have a couple of lines in here that are perfect. So all I have to do right now is to highlight them. So I'm going to take the same thing, burnt umber, some black, and titanium buff, and just put a hint of a highlight where I see it. Let's go a little bit darker. Good, good. So the highlights that we put before at the beginning with the fabric folds helps. So now I know where to highlight and to where it's dark and where the fabric is up and where the fabric is down. It's easy for me to spot, to put where the highlight should be. All I'm doing is I'm following what I see underneath. The movement of the fabric underneath. This is really strong here, so I'm gonna, and you really don't have to put too much. A couple of highlights, more than enough. Gonna adjust a bit the highlights in here because it's drying darker. Good. Now what I can do is take a bit of titanium buff and enhance where the strong light is on the fabric. On the fabric that is where there's no stripe. It's just a fold. Especially up here where there's a strong light. Don't have to go all the way down. Just a little bit here. We're good. You don't need much, just a bit. It's a hint or a suggestion. of highlights and stripes and okay, let's go. That's good. All right. So now we're going to work on the skirt. I have two sizes of brushes, medium and small, and I'm going to start with alizarin crimson. So I am going to be working here, and I know it's the darkest part right there. So I'm going to take a little bit of burnt umber and add it to my alizarin crimson. It's going to dry darker, and alizarin crimson is transparent. So we do have a layer of burnt umber underneath. It will dry really dark now. You know, I'm going to go over this a bit. I'm going to forget about the strap bag and just go over it, and then I'll paint it over after. It's better. And this way I can control where the strap should go. Let's take alizarin crimson here. We don't need it to be too dark, but that's okay. Whatever you get, it's fine. We want a dark kind of red. I'm going to take this and turn it around for a minute. Okay. Now I'm going to switch into a smaller brush and I'm going to start highlighting. So to highlight, I'm going to take both colors, alizarin crimson, cadmium red light for the first layer. So I'm highlighting slowly. And I'm just going to go see, like, look at I'm looking at the actual skirt and I'm checking to see where the light is and the movement of the fabric. This is mid-tone. I will go in and highlight a little bit more after when it's dry. We don't want it to be too light, like not a bright red. It's kind of like a burgundy. All right, now let's give it a tiny bit of dark right here, just because of the shirt over it. It makes sense if the shirt is casting a bit of shadow over skirt on top. So we might have to go a little bit darker after with this, but we will let it dry first, and then we'll adjust the highlight. Again, I'm mixing both colors, alizarin crimson and cadmium red light. And I'm just going to come here and then kind of look at the reference and see where the strong light is, where the fabric is highlighted. We don't want a lot of movement. There's no need. In the skirt, so a little bit of interesting highlight would be enough. I'm just going to take the round brush and bring in more red into the alizarin crimson, excuse me, and then enhance with a round brush the fold. Okay. I can see that I will need dark red, darker than what I have right now. So I'm just going to kind of add a touch, very small amount of black to burnt umber, and I'll mix it with the alizarin crimson, and then come here I know it's not, probably you don't see this in the reference, but because we changed the color, it's not white anymore. It needs this, otherwise the red is floating in this area if we don't do that. Looks good. So I highlighted a little bit here, this in here, just a bit in there, and then the bottom I went tiny bit darker. Now I am adjusting the values a bit to give those folds an interesting movement. See, if you look at the reference, some of these folds, if you look carefully, although it is in a white color, you will see that some areas are mid-tone, some areas are highlighted more. It depends on the movement of the fabric. Just I'm trying not to get the fabric, the folds to look the same, in this, going in the same direction. All right, we're good. We don't need more than this. That's perfect. I'm gonna pause. All right, so now we're going to work on the purse. So what I did is I just penciled in with pencil crayon. I drew in the strap bit so I can see where this is going to be, and then I'm just gonna put a simple purse. Maybe we'll have a kind of a, I mean, we can do a lot with this purse, but we can keep it just kind of also simple. I'm going to use black, ivory black, or any black you have, mixed with brown. So the black is not too strong. Burnt umber. I mean, I'm mixing black with burnt umber. It's going to look almost black, but more like a warm kind of black. Let's put the top, give the top a bit of, push the top, the upper part of the purse out and this part in. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute. This is coming out a bit, so it doesn't look like it's on the same level of the actual purse. We will work on details after. We're just right now putting color in. There are so many different styles and styles of bags, so you're welcome to paint or draw anything you like in here. I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to try to keep an eye on the shape and the movement of the strap. I will have to turn it around for a minute. give it a bit of thickness on the shoulder. Not much, just a tiny bit, so it doesn't look like it's flat with the shirt. Okay. And now I can just kind of work on adding a little bit more thicker paint. I need to fill this part with the background color, but I'll do it later. I'll do a negative painting. And okay, and then at this point, I'm going to keep this really dark in here, even if I have to put a bit more black in there, just to show that this part is in. And more, let's take burnt umber. With tiny bit of black in there and titanium buff. Again, I'm trying to get the burnt umber, a bit of highlight in this burnt umber. Let's see if I can. All right, let's see. All right, I'm going to give this part here a little bit of highlight. Let's turn let's give this strap a movement right here. And instead of doing the same thing here, I'm going to use red, dark red. You can use any other color. Doesn't have to be black, red, but red it's a nice color. So this bag is not really black. It's kind of dark brown. Now we can put some kind of buckle right here, but we will wait until we use the yellows in here, and then we will use, if we want, we can add this kind of little buckle in there. Let's put this red in here. All right, I think it's good. Simple. It's not the focal point. We can do a little bit of a design if we want on the bag in red. Give it another line. And really, it's not the focal point, it's just kind of a nice addition on top. I'm gonna wait for it to dry and then see how it goes in terms of, you know, paint, acrylic paint. If it settles, I need to put a bit of more darks or lights, highlighting or shadows. I think I need to put a bit of black down underneath here, but maybe, no, it's not something that we have to do. But for now, let's leave it to dry and see how it goes. I'm gonna pause. Okay, for the flowers, we have yellow ochre, cadmium yellow light, cadmium red light, burnt umber, and white. So for the dark, for first layer, for the flowers, especially at the bottom, the flowers are darker. I'm going to let's take this, kind of make a batch, touch of red in it. So our yellow ochre is more on the kind of an orangey side. And a touch of burnt umber to darken. With the corner of my brush, don't take too much, because you can gauge how much you need. Okay, this is good. We don't need much, just a bit. I'm going to start from the bottom part with this brush, which is kind of like medium. And I'm just gonna, yeah, that's a good color. I'm putting a couple of, with the corner of my brush. I don't want this to look solid. Whatever I'm putting in here, especially the edge, has to be, so with the corner of my brush, you can dab if you like. I am kind of, oh, jeez. Putting just kind of general kind of brush stroke. Right, so when I get to the top part of where the flowers are, I don't need this dark, strong dark. So I'm going to switch to yellow ochre. I can go back after and kind of give some areas in here that's darker value, especially in between the flowers, but I don't have to do it right now. I can do it after. the dark is kind of in between the flowers. So I'm giving the in between the petal or the flowers some gaps of dark in there. Okay. All right. Now I can highlight. But before I highlight, I like personally to define a bit some of these petals or flowers. I'm sorry, flowers. So I'm going to take dark burnt umber, actually take burnt umber, put some red in the burnt umber, and just kind of give some of these flowers a center. And put those centers in different directions. Don't put them all facing this way. So some of them will be, and the small ones up here. So now I can see this one like going, facing this way. This one that way. These are kind of like this. Okay, some of them we don't have to put on all of them. Now, with the corner of the same brush I was using, or a smaller one, probably smaller one. I like to, when I'm highlighting, I like to use a smaller brush. I'm going to take burnt yellow ochre and then put yellow in it. Cadmium yellow light. Touch of red. So it's more like a warm, orangey, yellowy color. And I'm going to come here and start highlighting. I'll put some more orange, red, especially where, yeah, that's better. Especially where the, there's kind of a medium tone highlight. That's now, I'm going down, so I'm using burnt umber and red. I'm sorry, not burnt umber, yellow ochre and red. And I'm just dabbing with the corner of my brush. It doesn't matter. We're not trying to show what kind of flowers they are. We're just trying to give a hint of a bouquet of flowers in her hand. So whatever is down at the bottom of this bouquet is dark. It's using yellow ochre and red. We do have the first layer, which is really dark. It had yellow ochre, red, and burnt umber. We don't need to do this anymore right now. Now we're kind of highlighting, so we don't need to use the burnt umber. And since we have some of these flowers have a center, it's easier to highlight or to put a color around them. You don't want to cover all of the red, all of the darks, especially at the bottom. We can, at the top part, it's fine. Now I'm getting to the top part, so I'm pushing in some cadmium yellow light with red and yellow ochre. You can see that this is lighter than what I was doing here. Some of these flowers are hidden, not really hidden, but they're in more of in a shadow part, so they're not all highlighted. And you'll see we will highlight more, and we will put some green as well. Okay, now let's go add more yellow. And actually put some strong yellow where there's a lot of light. Let's add yellow. Let's put red with this cadmium yellow light. I'm adding white to the same thing. Yellow ochre, cadmium yellow light, and cadmium red light, but I'm adding white now to this. Same mixture. They're kind of washed out with the sun, the sunny parts, so right. Now, I'm going to pause for a minute and I'll come back to, and then I'll continue. All right, so I mixed again the color of the background. It's not going to be exactly the same, but kind of similar. And it's, if I remember correctly, I think it's ultramarine violet, raw umber, and white. Maybe there's a little bit of Payne's gray, but that's not the thing. The thing is, important part is this bouquet is looking like a perfect circle, and I don't want it to look like this. So I'm going to do some negative painting. I'm going to get this background color and go in and kind of cut the circle. And then I will add a couple of petals around here, just to, with a round brush. So it doesn't look like it's kind of harsh. I'm softening the edges a bit. Okay, and then we will put some green. All right, that's much better than before. Although still, I think this is a bit too much. Just push it in, remove it. And if the background looks if it looks like it's not the same color as the original, all I have to do is just add a couple of lines in here of the new background that I've done. And it'll be fine. Oh, this is much better. So, right, okay. And also I remember I said that I want to add right here. Okay. Let's get some sap green. We have all of the other colors. We can use a bit of just sap green by itself for now. Sap green is not the color of it's not natural color of stems and greenery in nature. Sometimes what I do is I add a bit of yellow ochre in it, but because now it's just a hint. Let's take a bit of ultramarine violet. Add it, and I'm just gonna put a couple of little kind of hint of green here and there. Kind of when you putting flowers, painting flowers like this, you need this hint of green in there. Doesn't have to look like something specific. It's just a green. some cadmium yellow light. Okay, again, I can see a line right there. I'm going to try to get rid of it. That's better. That's better. Okay. Just kind of giving these flowers a little bit of shape right here. The ones that are in the sun, in the strong sun. Okay, I think we're good. No, let me see here. Okay, let me see. Okay. Cadmium or yellow ochre, cadmium yellow light, some red. And I'm going to clean up this part here. It looks a bit too brown. The brown is strong in here because it's because of the acrylic paint dries really harsh. So now if I feel after, when it's completely dry, if I feel like it needs a bit more of darkening here, I can glaze the whole thing. Oh jeez. Right, I'm going to bring in, I thought I need to adjust something here, but I'm okay. I think I'm fine. I'm going to bring in a little bit of more highlights inside. Very carefully with the corner of my brush. Just because this looks like one part that is highlighted and the other part is not. So what I'm going to do is just kind of push a bit of highlight down, not much, a couple here and there, because light will go in between the flowers and it will hit parts of these flowers, even though they're in the shadow area. That's better. It doesn't look like there's a line right here where the light stops. It should look organic. Okay, we're good. I'm gonna stop. I'll remove everything. Put this here. Perfect. And we'll go back if we need to do any more highlights or work, we will do it after. I'm gonna pause. All right, so now what we're doing is the clasp of the right here of the bag, and we're going to use the colors we used for the flowers. We're going to start with yellow ochre. I'll put a tiny bit of burnt umber in it. First layer. Okay. I'm going to switch to a round brush, small one. I'm going to take, we can put 2 of those or 1 button in the center instead of 2. I'm just going to put 1. Okay, it's the same thing, but 1. Well, I'm using burnt umber, and I'm going to use the same burnt umber, just burnt umber for now, to draw a line for the upper part, or I mean the clasp over here on top, right there. For now, I'm going to zoom in. Okay. Now I'm going to start highlighting. So I'm going to take yellow ochre, a bit of, I think we will need a bit of cadmium yellow light to get that gold, this gold color. And we're going to start shaping slowly. We will add a stronger highlight after to get this, to get it to look shiny. Just here, right there, and I will highlight this more in a minute. Some burnt umber, a little bit. So when an object is shiny, you will see a lot of different values, and that's what makes it look shiny. at first it doesn't look that great, but the more you highlight it, the more you work on the values, the nicer it will look. It takes patience. Okay, now I'm going to start highlighting a little bit more, so I'm adding cadmium yellow light to the yellow ochre, and I start highlighting slowly, some areas, and white. And also, we don't want this clasp to look too strong. It will take over. It should be there, but it shouldn't look too strong. It shouldn't take over the rest of the painting. Because what happens is people will look at that right away. This is a very kind of warm color. This is yellow ochre and white. I'm highlighting some of the yellow ochre with yellow ochre, with this part. So it looks like light is bouncing off. I think it needs a little bit of red, but let's see. I don't know why. All right, it's not okay. Should be okay now. I'm just going to clean up, because once I clean up, I can see it better. Clean it up a bit, whatever is around it, and kind of try to fix the shape. I think this top part is too strong, too big. I'm going to make it smaller. Right there. Much better. Much better. Okay. Now, let's take again some yellow ochre, a little bit of white. Try to highlight this top, because this is a shiny part. yellow ochre, and just highlight it just a tiny bit right here, because it looks all the same, and because the paint is drying darker. I'm just going to just kind of give it a bit of shinier parts. More white into the yellow ochre, and that is just for this part right here. So it looks like it's really shiny. And I don't want to put too much work in this because I don't want it to be too strong or to look too strong. All right, so it's already jumping off the actual bag, and what I'm going to do is glaze it after in a minute with dark yellow ochre. So I'm going to take yellow ochre, and it's normal because I've put a lot of highlights in there, and it looks like it's not connected to with the bag. It's very strong, so you can always do another thing. Take yellow ochre, come here and put a bit of yellow ochre in here. A little bit of white. And I'm going to take yellow ochre with tiny bit of burnt umber glaze. I just kind of tone it down. It's there, but it's not strong. It's not taking over. This is just cadmium yellow light. I'm sorry, cadmium red light with burnt umber. Okay, that's better. Just by highlighting the red around it, it just gave it a bit of more, it anchored this. I like the fact that I glazed it. It's not overwhelming, right? Like it's not coming forward too much. I will put a tiny bit of highlight just for sparkle, and then leave it. That's good. All right, that's fine. This is enough. We've done. It looks really good. All right, I'm gonna stop. Okay, so this project is done. Next week, for the 2 next weeks, I'm off, so no art sessions until until after February 18th.